So to start, we are going to create our own phishing link. All right. Just setting up a server here. We're going to use a tool called Hidden Eye that allows us to create any phishing page that we want from, as you can see here, from the various different platforms. In this case, we're going to do a Microsoft phishing page. Just to show you how easy it is for anybody to get a hold of these tools and create their own phishing links. It doesn't necessarily have to be some worldwide known hacker or some hacking group. Anybody can practically do it around the world. So we're seeing a lot of attacks every single day, from script kitties to actual hackers, and it's just a matter of increasing your awareness. I'm going to have it redirect us to portal.office.com. I'm going to use port 8081 and our own server. Now, this is what a phishing page looks like. Imagine someone sends you an email. Just going to generate a random email here. All right, and within the email, rather than putting this link in, which is the phishing link, they can disguise it. Click here to access the latest, or click here to update your password, because it had expired. All they have to do is just replace a specific text with a link. And now this link doesn't show unless you hover your cursor on top of it. So a lot of times this is how people fall for phishing links, because they don't read the link that's under the specific text, and then they end up clicking on it. And this is where it would take them. All right, so just because we set up a phishing link, you can notice by the link here, this is not a Microsoft link, and this link can look like anything. Someone can purchase a domain that looks like Microsoft's domains. They can disguise them to any domain that they feel like. So just keep an eye on where you are signing into. Then we can type in whatever email address we want. Let's just put test@domain.com. Click next. And now type in the password. And as you can see, this looks exactly like Microsoft's sign-in page. Let's just type in a very long password just to show you that it doesn't matter how long your password is, it can be phished fairly quickly. Right, so this is the password that I'm typing. We click sign in. It's going to redirect me to my portal.office.com page. I'm not going to sign in there, but I just want to show you here now, this is what we were able to find. Credentials found, test@domain.com, and this is the extra long password that we typed in. This is just to show you that regardless of how long your password, anybody can get a hold of your password and start to log into your email. Let's just say test.domain.com is a real user, they got compromised, and now we want to be able to find out what the hacker is able to do without MFA protection. Let's just minimize those. And instead of it being that test@domain.com, let's call this user Alex Wilbur or Alex W. I'm going to run an attack now. It's called a reconnaissance attack, meaning grabbing as much information as possible from this organization, whether it's to do so through LinkedIn, through social media platforms, regardless of where the hackers look for, as long as they find a user they want to attack, they find any means possible to find more information about that user. So now Alex Wilbur got compromised. We found out what the password was. We signed in. Now I'm going to dump the information that I'm able to capture within this user. And you can see how long it takes for me to dump the information without even having to sign into the portal using a browser. I'm just pretty much using a script. And this user is not protected with multi-factor authentication. So within about 14.5 seconds, I was able to capture information about this tenant. Let's take a look at what I'm able to read. Right, so let's just open up another tab here. I just created a local web server to be able to see this information in a graphical format and for the sake of this demo. But for this demo environment, there's 33 users, 40 groups, 6 applications, 341 service principal accounts, and no devices. If you had enrolled your devices, your iPhone, your Android device, these would pop up under our devices section. But since this is just a demo environment, this is what we're going to work with today. Right, the name of the tenant information, is it being synced from a local Active Directory or not? What other domains do they have in the tenant? And now, again, I just compromised Alex Wilbur, who is not an admin in this tenant, just a regular user, no admin privileges whatsoever, no MFA. And I'm able to capture all the users in the environment, their UPN, whether they're enabled or not, their email address, the department they're part of, their last password change timestamp. This is extremely crucial for hackers to know because sometimes they find passwords on the dark web that are part of this organization, and then they just attempt to use those passwords to sign in. So they don't necessarily have to phish you. They can easily find those passwords on the dark web if you've been compromised before and you don't know it. The job title, their mobile phone number, and whether this account has been synced or is in the cloud. And not just this, I can actually expand on other users. So I can just click on Bianca, for example. I can see what group she's part of, if she's, has any admin roles, in this case, none, and a little more information about this user. So again, this is a reconnaissance attack. I'm just trying to capture as much information as possible before the next attack. Let's say I want to try to find out who is an admin or who's part of the finance department. I can easily go to the group section, try to look for, there's a finance team here. There's another finance team here. If I click on that, this is a group, SG-finance, and there's 4 members. Now, if I want to attack the finance team, at least I know who to attack next. It's going to be one of these 4 users, if that's what the hacker is after. If the hacker is after some, the admin groups, they can go to the directory roles here and see Christy is an Exchange admin. So if they want to attack the email platform, they can just try to phish for Christy's password. And if she doesn't have MFA enabled, they can easily log into the Exchange environment. Global admins. Whoever's part of this list has full control over Office 365 and the tenant. So if any of these users get compromised, the hackers have access to the entire environment within Office 365. Password administrator, billing administrator, directory readers. So if someone's after their billing, they can attack Pradeep. If someone's after their passwords, they can attack Lynn. So this, again, is just a reconnaissance attack to plan their next attack. They can also take a look at their applications. What applications have been deployed in this environment, which can also help them plan an attack. So they can pretty much, they're using Box, LinkedIn, QuickBooks. If they want financial information out of QuickBooks, they can send a phishing email to someone that is part of the finance team, or maybe Pradeep in this case, because he's a billing administrator, and let them know your password is about to expire in QuickBooks, reset your password, and they would get a phishing link similar to the one that we just showed you here. If they fall for the phishing attack, they might as well be able to sign into their QuickBooks Online environment. So it's extremely crucial, especially from an MFA perspective. MFA blocks 99.9% of attacks against your identity. So that's just the very first layer of protection. And there are other means for hackers to get in, but that's outside the scope of this webinar. But at least, the very least you can do is protect your accounts with MFA. All right, so these are some ways that hackers can actually steal your password, log into your environment, steal information from your environment, and plan their next attack. Right. Back to the